Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 4. Rome, here we come. In week 4, we are going to be beginning our study of ancient Rome and Julius Caesar. So, Southern ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 4 and the study of ancient Rome. In this week, we are going to be, of course, covering our bell ringer, which is the first thing for you to work on every day that you come into class. It is the quote of the week. Remember, the quote of the week has 4 questions. You will have to read the quote, read the information about the author, and then analyze and break down the quote, and then answer the 4 questions related to the quote. Our agenda, I just finished making the agenda video and posted it in our class sections. But the agenda will tell you precisely the activities and assignments that you will be covering each day in this class during this week. The vocab, we are going to look at our new vocab list for this week in just a little bit. I have 5 new words for you to add to your vocab list. This week the only grammar checks that we're going to be doing is the way in which we incorporate grammar into our writing, and of course within our quote analysis. But I have not yet begun the unit on writing and grammar as such. So that is not here yet, but it is soon to come. By the end of this week, we are going to begin taking notes over our first lit unit, Ancient Rome and Julius Caesar. So you will be taking notes in your binder in the lit notes section, and I have some slides, and I'll make a video for those of you who miss class, but I will have lecture videos that you can observe and pull out the notes that you need to take in your binder. Okay, this is the quote of the week. Quote 3. It says, "Success is counted sweetest by those who ne'er succeed," by Emily Dickinson. Okay, students, there is a word in this quote that is not in our common language today. Can you guess what it is? If you guessed the word ne'er, you're absolutely correct. Now, can you decide what that word means? If you thought that word means never, you're again absolutely correct. I would like to say that Emily Dickinson is a poet, and she is one of my favorite poets. I love her poetry. I love reading it, studying it, analyzing it. In fact, my favorite poem that she wrote is called "Because I Could Not Stop for Death, Death Stopped for Me." And I think that is my favorite quote, and that is a poem that we are going to study later on. But I think that is my favorite poem that she wrote because I can so well connect with that poem. And in that poem, she talks about a person being so busy that they can't even stop for death. But not to worry, because death will stop for you. So I tend to stay very, very busy. I'm always working or working on a new degree, plus working. So I'm a very busy person, and I know that I can relate so well to her poem, "I Could Not Stop for Death." But I can relate also to a lot of her poetry. She just has that unique way of writing poetry. Now let's move in and take a moment and focus on the author. And I hope that you will take a few minutes, pause this video, and read for yourself about this author. I'm not going to read all of this to you, but I am going to just point out a couple of things. I do expect you, however, to read this on your own if you're not in class. She was of the kind of family that allowed her the special privilege to go to high school and then to go to college. She actually went to a seminary. The seminary is now a college, but a seminary is a place to go to study the Bible and study various aspects of a person's religious beliefs and backgrounds. And not only do they study the religion and the Bible, but they also study, other subjects as well. So they get a well-rounded education. And she was very privileged. That was a big deal for a lady to be able to go to a private college institution. She was a very private person. She didn't do well socially with other people. She preferred to be alone, but she poured herself into her poetry. Most of the purposes for the poetry that she wrote was intended just for her, or it was intended for her close friends and neighbors. When they became ill, she would write them a sweet little poem as part of her care for her neighbors. It's really sad because she only had 10 poems published during her lifetime. But after she passed away, she had a bound booklet, or she had several bound booklets of her poems that were bound together, and those were found and of course then sent on to be published. After that, after her death, she had over 1,700 more poems published. So she was a very accomplished writer. Okay, now that we have been through this poem and we've kind of discussed it, this quote, success is counted sweetest by those who never succeed. And as we break this down and we think about it, we think in terms that, success is a great thing to accomplish. But if there is something that you have been striving for and working toward and preparing and planning to achieve, but you haven't quite achieved it yet, and so you keep working toward that goal, and then finally you accomplish it. And once you finally accomplish that goal, that success that you feel is the sweetest success that you've ever experienced because you have worked so hard to accomplish it. So those people who haven't yet accomplished it, when they do finally accomplish it, they tend to appreciate it way more than others who have accomplished it in the past, or maybe they've accomplished it more than one time. So I'd like for you to think about a goal that you have set for yourself. And I know that some athletes have set the goal that, hey, we want to be state champions this year. Other organizations such as Quiz Bowl, they set that same goal. They want to be state champions this year. And that is a fabulous goal to set and strive to achieve. But just remember, if you haven't experienced it, if you work really hard, when you finally do accomplish it, it is the sweetest feeling that you've ever felt. Okay, so once you finish analyzing and breaking down this quote, go to the assignment tab posted as quotes and open the Google Docs, and in blue ink begin answering the questions related to this quote. Okay, now let's take a look at our vocabulary words. Our vocab words for this week are focused on our story, our lit piece, our lit play that we're about to start reading. Before we start reading the play, we're going to get a little background information into ancient Rome and then into Julius Caesar, because the title of the lit work that we are reading right now is Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. Now, the first vocab word is Senate. Now, we all know that we have a Senate today in the United States. In fact, we have a Senate that actually, our Senate that functions today actually originated in ancient Rome as they established and instituted a state council for ancient Rome of the Republic and the Empire of Rome. This was a legislative power that shared popular assemblies, or it shared power with popular assemblies, with administration, with the magistrates, and then of course the judicial power was also shared with the knights. Now, if you will remember, I told you early on in this semester that we were going to start with ancient Rome and Julius Caesar, and then in the second 9 weeks we're going to move into the study of the knights. Well, you can see that the knights even go back as far as the ancient days, and they are found in ancient Rome. A senator is a person who is a member of the Senate, and we actually have a senator now working in our school district, in our high school building. And he knows very well the full life of being a senator serving in a Senate. Let's talk about vocabulary word number 3, and this is filibuster. This word may be a brand new word to you. Filibuster just simply means an action. Sometimes the action may be a prolonged speech that is given for the purpose of obstructing progress in a legislative assembly while not technically contravening the required procedures. So what's happening in a filibuster, they're trying to provide something that's going to obstruct a particular issue that's on the table that's about to be voted for. So let's say someone has figured out, hey, the vote is not going to go the way I want it to. So they try to provide some kind of obstruction to stop the progress at that point. Sometimes the intent is, if I can stand up and give a prolonged speech and then our time limit is up and we have to move on, then we'll have to table this issue until our next meeting. Meanwhile, I can go around and talk to the different senators and try to persuade them to my way of thinking so that I can sway their vote when we actually come back and have to vote on this. So that is a filibuster, trying to stop, hinder, and obstruct the progress of the legislative assembly. A consul, this is a term that's known of in ancient Rome, and a consul is one of the 2 annually elected chief magistrates who jointly rule the republic. So it's like a consul is one of the basic leaders that rules through the government at this time and point. The governor is vocab word number 5. The governor is also another one who rules in the republic, and the governor is considered to be the head of a public institution. Okay, and you all know very well that we have a governor in Arkansas, and he is a great governor, and I think you've seen a lot of him on the news media and a lot of the decisions and choices that he's had to make on behalf of Arkansans these days. Very similar to governor in ancient Rome. Okay, so after you complete the going through the slides of the lesson plans, then you can go to the tab of the quotes and you can work on your quote document. And then you can go to the vocab section and open the vocab graphic organizer and type in there your vocab words, what part of speech it is, and notice all of these are nouns, and the definition. And don't forget, the title of the lit piece is Julius Caesar, and the author is Shakespeare. And type up this information in blue ink, and then you may submit it. Don't forget to also put a hard copy in your binder in case your internet goes out and you need to study for an exam. Okay. I also have for you this week a magazine project for slide 3. So we're coming back to the magazine project. Your first project was to make your cover page, your title page with your pictures. The second slide was your acrostic poem. And now we're on our third slide, and these are your instructions. And to complete this, you will need to go to the magazine project topic. And these are your instructions. You're going to research and find the meaning of the term Ides of March. And then you're going to create a slide in your magazine explaining what is the Ides of March. I want you to use bullets to distinguish each one of your different points that you have to say about the Ides of March. I also want you to include some descriptive pictures in your slide that depicts a representation of the Ides of March. So that is another assignment that you have to do this week. Okay, a quick review. You've got the quote of the week. You've got your vocab list that is to be in your graphic organizer, in your Google Classroom, and in your binder. We are going to review and edit last week's paragraph, and you're going to complete magazine project slide 3. Then at the end of the week, we're going to get to know ancient Rome and Caesar by adding some notes and going through some slides together in our lit binder, or in our binder in the lit notes section. Okay, it's time now for you to begin having some fun in Rome with Julius Caesar. So toward the end of this week, you can go to the Julius Caesar unit and get started on that. But before that, do your preliminary work with your quote of the week, your vocab words, and your magazine project. And don't forget the edits and revisions of your paragraph. Okay, have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you in class. And if you can't make it to class, I completely understand. Just make sure that you stay in touch with me and you go through all of the video lectures.